is time for your weekly breakdown on the latest in entertainment, sports, pop culture, and all things Milwaukee. This is Nothing But the Truth with Melanie Ricks. Now streaming on 1017 The Truth YouTube with the witty banter, latest trends, celebrity topics. It is time for your weekly breakdown on the latest in entertainment, sports, pop culture, and all things Milwaukee. This is Nothing But the Truth with Melanie Ricks. Now streaming on 1017 The Truth YouTube with the witty banter, latest trends on social media, and hottest celebrity topics. Here is Melanie Ricks.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah. I guess we gon' do it on a Wednesday. You know I'll do it my way.
My way.
It's okay if I don't know how to play. I know how to say, hey, I hope y'all have a good day.
Good day.
Wednesday, yeah, it's a good day. I hope all of y'all had a good day.
Good day.
Benjamin in the stew, and you know what he gon' do. Press a button, one, maybe two.
It's amazing.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to Nothing But the Truth with Melanie Ricks. My name is Mel, and Stu with Benjamin. How you doing, Jammin'?
Y'all know what it is, man. Another day in a lifetime. It's amazing as always.
I love that for you. I really do love that for you. Hi. Aw, cute. Hi. With your beer. Yeah, what's up, y'all? Welcome. It's another day to go get it. Ben, it's hump day. It's Wednesday. And as you so graciously reminded me before we jumped on these airwaves, it's the start of Gemini season. So is there anything you want to say?
Hey, shout out to Geminis. We the best. We the best on the Zodiacs. Yes. Gotta let y'all know something about yourselves. Everybody else suck. We the best.
Yeah, that sounds like a Gemini. That sounds exactly like a Gemini. Is there a way that you celebrate Gemini season?
You know what? One thing that I realized about Gemini season, Mel, is that it's just great. I don't really have a specific way I celebrate it. I just absorb all the energy around me. That's what I try to do. Absorb the energy around me, all the good energy that is around me. I'm typically surrounded by, a lot of positive people, a lot of beautiful people, and I try to take, different life lessons from them and just apply it to my own life. So I usually use the Gemini season to beef myself up and become a better person. That's what I do. Even on my birthday. That's all I ever want to do anyway. On my birthday is just surround myself around people who inspired me to be the person I am today and get more of their sauce.
No, for sure. I bet you do celebrate it that way. I don't know, Ben. You kind of seem like the type to have a cake and do a whole Gemini bash.
Yeah.
But you're the type to put Geminis only. And then but then there's gonna be an asterisk next to only, and it's gonna say down at the bottom unless you're a baddie.
If I was Gemini Gilly, that'd probably be what I'd do. If I was DJ Gemini Gilly, shout out to my Gemini twin.
Yeah.
All right, shout out to my Gemini twin in them. All right. That's probably what I would do, but I'm not as cool as her, so
definitely
ultimately
not.
I just try like I said before, I just try to, get everybody together who inspires me.
I appreciate that.
Just learn something from them. And I mean, a cake is always cool. But me personally, I like to just hop in the studio. And rap. That's what I want to do. I want to rap or I want to perform on my birthday. And this year on my birthday, Kendrick Lamar will be in Chicago. So that's where I will be.
You'll be
Chicago.
There? Okay.
I'm going to Chi-Town to go see how K-Dot gets down.
Okay.
That's what I'm about to do. And it's a double whammy for me because it's my birthday. Kendrick Lamar is going to be in Chicago. And Lil Wayne drops the Carter 6 on my birthday.
I'm so excited for Carter 6. I wonder how many, is that a millennial and up type of excitement?
I think it is, bro. Because what? Bruh, I got something to throw out there or whatever. Again, I'm realizing I'm getting older. And one of the reasons why is because my girl ends up going to the Beyonce tour, whatever. She went to the Cowboy Carter tour, right? She went on Sunday. Rhea went on Sunday. It was super cold. However, my girl ended up...
In Chicago?
In Chicago.
Okay.
Yep. And my girl ended up taking her nieces. She took her nieces, right? one of her nieces is 18, her other niece is like 13 years old. She was like, "Why are we seeing Beyonce?" She was like, "Why
Oh my gosh.
Why are we seeing Beyonce? Why she couldn't understand the significance behind watching a Beyonce concert and the fact that she was just only feet away from Beyonce. She's just Beyonce. And I'm thinking to myself, like, damn, bro, like, has Beyonce lost her graces with the youth? Like,
Did she ever have it with them? I'm not trying to be funny, but like they are obsessed with, I don't even know who. I don't
Ice
know who.
Spice? SZA?
Maybe SZA.
Because none of these new acts is
Probably Ice Spice.
None of these new acts is catching up to Beyonce. Like, and that's one thing I need these young children to understand is like when you used to drop as an artist back then, it was way more impactful than these artists who drop today. Yeah, okay, and I'm even talking about the legacy artists that drop music today. It still don't hit. The rollout ain't the same as what it used to be back in the day. And maybe I'm an old head, so to speak, right? But I just know what good music and good talent is. I don't think these children do anymore. I think they, go take Cracker Jack box, call the Spotify and Apple Music playlist and listen to whatever they want, whenever they want, and they don't give a damn about the value of that music or how it changed their life.
The thing about it though is, Ben, we could say the same thing about the music that came before us, Because I'm not even trying to be funny, but like I think about songs like "Why Don't You Build Me Up, Buttercup Baby, Just to Tear Me Down." Do you know that song?
Sing it again.
No, I'm not gonna sing it again. I'm not gonna sing it again, bro.
I'm trying to understand, like, just build me up, because I feel like that's it, baby. It goes something like that, right?
Why do you build me up, buttercup baby, just to tear me down? And when you're out and worst of all, I need you more than anyone, darling. So my point is, you know what song I'm talking about.
I used to listen to that song in
Me too.
high school.
I don't know why this like coming back to my head, but regardless, like certain songs, like before we were ever a thought, our parents were jamming to. I'm not saying my mom was listening to that. I don't know why that's the song that came to my head, but my point is,
listening to it, bro.
She probably was. But my point is, like, we would listen to that kind of music now and be like, what were they on? Even Elvis, which we know too much about Elvis now. Okay, who's a better example? Michael Jackson. No, Michael Jackson was great. You know what, Ben? You make a good point. Gen Z, you need better taste in music. I got no one.
They really do, and it makes me sad for our future. But at the same time, because I do see few small pockets of the Gen Zs and even the Alpha generation that is going back to pre-auto-tune days, where they're going back listening to music from the 70s and 80s. Like, again, one of my girl's nephews, his favorite artists, and this has been his favorite artist since he was probably about like 6 or 7 years old. The gentleman is like 11 years old now. And I asked him the other day, I was like, Marion, who is your favorite artist of all time? He was like, Michael Jackson. And
I love that.
I'm like, bro, Michael Jackson was dead before you was alive. So where's the correlation? How you get put on a Michael Jackson? He was like, it just makes me feel good.
I love that.
He dances nice, and he not all into that thug life stuff.
He's got time, and he's got timeless music too, I think, right?
Hey, when you do something great, whatever that is, if you do it great, it will become timeless. So whether it's music, whether it's you being a great NBA sideline reporter, whatever you've done in your lifetime, if it was really worth it, it will be forever ingrained in culture. It will forever be ingrained in what the world is today. Something like the Wayans bros. Their whole legacy has impacted the culture for real. As honestly, me personally, the Wayans brothers mean so much to me because they impacted me to become the person I am today. Like, I wanted to be Sean Wayans when I was a kid. I wanted to be Sean, and I ain't talking scary movie Sean. I'm just talking Sean.
The Wayans brothers.
Yeah, I
Sean,
need the Wayans brothers.
the show.
Sean. Like the player, smooth cat, not the dude who was on some other stuff in scary movies. I need that Sean though for the Wayans brothers.
I'm sorry, but the scary movie Sean was hilarious.
Very hilarious. I mean, honestly, I'll even be Ashtray. Ashtray from Don't Be a Menace While Drinking Your Juice in South Central LA. I'll be Ashtray. Ashtray was still a smart cat. And some of those moments still live with me to this day. That I constantly repeat, and it just lives rent free in my head.
No, I definitely feel that. Well, And, you know, we're talking about music. We're talking about, you know, music that crosses over from generation to generation. I agree with you. When folks go back and watch the Wayans bros, like, I do think that that's a timeless show.
Right.
I would also argue, though, that a lot of what they were taught growing up, or so we are now learning, is also timeless. However, at what point do we realize, you know, this is timeless, but only because it's crossing over from one generation to the next? But it's okay to label it as what it actually is, as opposed to pretending like it's something else. For example, you mentioned Sean Wayans. Well, Marlon Wayans did an interview recently with the New York Times.
Oh, did he?
He did.
He did?
Please don't say Diddy.
Did he?
He did an interview with.
Did he do something with Diddy?
With the New York Times, and the interview itself was great. It was just kind of him talking, but then he started talking about his relationship with his mom, which, for anyone that knows the Wayans brothers, like growing up, you know, watching them or just knowing who they were. First off, they were way more prominent in the 90s and in the 2000s. Not so much anymore. But they were huge staples in our childhood for sure,
Very
right?
true.
In Living Color, by far one of my favorite shows. But again, Wayans Bros, that was my favorite show growing up. I would say top 5. That, Cosby Show, like all those kind of were Living Single,
the
like
nostalgia.
Those were all, man,
the
what
nostalgic
it hits.
black sitcoms.
It hits different. But something else that kind of hit different was when Marlon was talking about his relationship with his mom. So his mom, unfortunately, passed away in 2020. And something that I always knew growing up, he's the youngest of all the Wayans bros and sisters. I believe there are 9?
It's like 9 of them.
Is it 9 of them?
It might be 50 by now, but hey.
No, there's definitely more than
Mama
50.
Wayans is pushing them out. That's what I know.
I believe that there were 9 original siblings, if I'm not mistaken. So there's Dwayne, Damon, Nadia, Keenan, Kim, Devon, a.k.a. Vonnie, Deidre, Elvira, and Sean. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, 9. There are 9 of them. Okay, Sean was the youngest. Or, excuse me, Marlon. I'm sorry. Marlon was the youngest. I'm so sorry. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10!
Because Keenan Ivory Wayans was already like 18 by the time Marlon Wayans was born.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Regardless.
They got gang of them.
The reason why I think it's relevant to mention this, you know, he's the youngest out of, 9, 10 children. And when he was talking to the New York Times, he shared a reason why he's never been married. And keep in mind, he was in a long-term relationship with the mother of his 2 children, Kai and Sean, which is cute that he named his son after his brother. I think that's adorable. He was with her from 1992 until 2013, but they never married. He said the reason why he made a conscious decision to remain unwed is because of his fear of making his mom jealous. He said, quote, "I never got married because I never wanted my mother to be jealous of a woman. I never wanted my mother to feel second to any woman." He added that his mom was always very needy. So he does have 9 siblings. He's one of 10. He's number 10 out of 10. I can relate to that. My mom is from a 10-child family, which is really crazy, a 10-children family, I mean. But she was number 9. She's not the youngest. She's the second youngest.
Shout out to Gabby.
Shout out to Gabs. Being the youngest who's a boy, and my uncle is the youngest out of the 10 children, and he's a boy, huge mama's boy. Always has been, always will be. Unlike Marlon, he has been married, though he's currently married. We love his wife. A lot of people did not basically what he said about his mom, it didn't sit well with people. The interview was not about his mom, for the record, but the people who consumed this interview, they made it about that because they said that sounds like emotional abuse. If you have a parent that you feel afraid to even invite someone into that space that you share with that parent because you're afraid that the parent's going to be jealous or is going to feel like they come second to that person. Well, one tweet said, that's kind of weird. They quoted what he said in the article, and they said, that's kind of weird. And other people responded to that tweet. I want to read some of these responses, and Ben, I'm curious to hear what you think about it. Somebody said, we need to have a serious conversation on why mothers feel jealous of their sons' women. Another person said, I'm not going to lie, men who have this type of relationship with their mothers need to stay unmarried because women don't need that burden. I'm curious for you, Ben, when you hear a man admit that the reason why he never got married is because he didn't want to make his mom jealous and because he didn't want his mom to ever feel second to any woman. And he also added his mom was always very needy. So he didn't want his mom to be jealous, didn't want his mom to feel second, and he felt like he had a needy mother. What does that say to you when you hear a man admit something like that?
I got a few different layers to this, because first off, how needy was she? How much more did she need? Because it sounded like she had enough penis in her life. It sounded like she had enough in her life with that. And she had enough kids, okay? She had a whole army. And a lot of times these parents, when they have kids, they think them kids is there to be their in-house workers. So you had somebody who was going to wash the dishes for you. You had kids around to probably cook and clean for you, all that good stuff. So how much more did his mama need? Secondly, it made me also think about the idea, maybe think about Marlon Wayans' career. Because when I think about the shows he played in, like what we were just talking about, Wayans Bros, like I'm thinking to myself, bro, is that why they didn't have a mom the whole entire series? Like, there was Pops, but we never saw a mom of the show. There was always Pops, and then there was Dee Dee, who was the security guard at the.
She was like a mom figure.
She was a mother figure, but it wasn't his mom. And then when I think about South Central LA, don't be a menace while drinking your juice in South Central LA. He didn't have a mom in that either. Like, he had a mom.
Interesting.
But she was like really abusive, and she didn't really love on that man. So it's a scary movie. Where was their mama then? So did he intentionally?
I don't know if anybody had a mom in Scary Movie, but I understand what you're saying.
But throughout the duration of his career, and then when I think about the Sextuplets movie he dropped on Netflix, did they have a mom in that movie?
Did they have a mom in White Chicks? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm really thinking about this, because how intentional was he with this feeling and emotion throughout his life?
Where he didn't even have mom or women playing his mom.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, I don't want my mom to ever be jealous that I'm giving my love to another woman besides my mom.
It's interesting.
But thirdly and lastly, I'll leave it at this. I really think that the boy has mama issues. He's a mama's boy, so to speak, especially if he's always looking for acceptance from his mother when it comes down to his taste in women. I mean, I think that just ultimately holds you back, because if you're always looking for acceptance from everybody else, you eventually got to look in the mirror and be like, you know what, I accept this for me, and this is going to be me in my life. Like, I know somebody who's married right now who their mother didn't care for his wife, and a lot of his family didn't, but he knew that he loved this woman, and he knew that the woman loved him, and ultimately it ended up being the right choice for him. They're about to have a baby in the next few months, so. And they're married. So it's just one of them things that, like, if you consistently and constantly try to live for your parents, you'll never truly live for you and what, you're destined to be in this lifetime,
No, that's facts. Mm-hmm. The thing is, though, and somebody said it in the comments, it sounds a little bit like emotional abuse. And, he didn't come out right and say it. But I think if you read between the lines, I mean, first off, I'm not going to lie. I do think it's weird, and I don't like to judge other people. I can be very judgmental. I'm not even going front. Because, like, when you hear information against your will, it's hard not to, like, have an opinion on it, right? And for you to say the reason why you never got married is because you didn't want your mom to be jealous, like, that's weird. It's weird. I think it's weird. Like, if one of my if any of my brothers, older brother, little brothers, said they're not going to get married because they don't want our mom to be jealous, I would go have a conversation with my mom, like, Gabs, what are we doing? Because why do my brothers feel as if they cannot get married because they're afraid that you're going to be... What relationship do y'all have? Why is it that they are afraid of you, afraid to upset you or hurt you? And why would that hurt you? You know what I mean? Like, what is it that you have done or said to make them feel that way? And I think there's some sense of emotional abuse or manipulation that's happening. Because to me, when you're, again, reading between the lines, it's giving no one's ever going to be good enough. No woman is better than me. I'm the best woman that you're ever going to know. Don't even bother bringing anybody over here. And if you do, you're going to hurt me really badly. And if you love me, you won't bring anybody. And I wouldn't be surprised if there were things that were said to him, even if it was like on a subconscious level, like where she didn't mean to necessarily make him feel that way.
Yeah.
But she lived to be 81 years old. And I'm not speaking ill on the dead. I want to be very clear on that. May she rest in peace. But in the 81 years, and he was, I believe, his late 40s, early 50s when she passed. In that 40, 50-year span, your son never got married. she knew why he never got married, because I think most moms, and I'm not a mom yet to a human baby, most moms live to see their sons get married, have kids, start a family. Like, you want that because you want your kid to be able to do what you did, but better.
Right.
And she gave birth to 10 children. Why wouldn't she want her baby boy to have this beautiful family life? I mean, he's created this incredible career for himself alongside his brothers and his sisters. Why is it that you wouldn't want him to, you know, put that cherry on top of it all by getting married and starting this wonderful family life, unless you are like, yeah, unless there's some abuse happening. I'll just say that.
But see, that's why I don't believe necessarily the abuse, though, Mel. Because again, she had 10 children. All 10 children ain't out here just, oh, I'm just single because, you know, I don't want to.
We don't know that.
Well, a lot of them. Damon Wayans is married, has been married. Keenan Ivory Wayans has been married, and I think he's still married. A lot of them have went on to go have families and all this good stuff. Marlon Wayans, to use the excuse to be like, hey man, I just never wanted to disappoint my mom. You know, bro, at some point you got to grow up. You talking about you a 52-year-old man, and I mean, rest your mom's soul, but you still don't want to put another woman
5
in your
years
life.
later,
You know,
after she's not even here anymore.
You know, if anything, it's something that has happened in his own mind. It could be him trying to, you know, cover up real emotions that he's hiding, why he doesn't want to get close enough to a woman, somebody that can actually hurt him, be vulnerable. It could be those types of ideas that's actually happening, and the mother issue is just something that he uses as a safeguard to protect his actual true motives and emotions. Because for him to go and have kids with a long-time baby mother, if you will, and then be like, man, no woman will ever be able to take my mom's place. I understand that's your mom, but that's also why you get a girlfriend and or a wife. You know, your girlfriend and wife aren't meant to ever be your mom. You know, your mom is your mom. She's going to be your mom. That's what she's there to do. That's that. She's there to mother you and nurture you. You can't expect the same things out of your wife that you did with your mom. You know, and you got to let some of them things go, you know, especially after they passed away. She's grown you up, raised you as a nice young man. You're actually super successful, more successful than what you would have been without her. So, you know, I think ultimately you would be doing yourself a disservice if you never allow yourself to be vulnerable enough to fall in love. I'd rather had loved and then lost than never had loved at all, you know, because I at least want to experience that part of my life. You know, but that's me in my life. That's my narrative. You know, I don't know what Marlon Wayans is trying to do. He might still be trying to, you know, attend a Diddy party or two. I don't know.
I don't understand why he feels the need to even share that information. I'm not even going to lie, because I agree with you. He does need to grow up. I'm sorry, but like, your mom is not your wife. That's not your woman. You know, that's the woman that gave birth to you. And I can appreciate a man who loves his mama. I think it is so sweet. I do. I love it. I think that's a natural thing for boys. Like, I think most boys, if you will, are mama's boys. Most. If you have a mom in your life and she's present, I think, and sorry, let me take that back, because I'm a daddy's girl, and my dad was not present in my life, but I loved my dad, even when I didn't get to see him as a child. So, like, I do think it's innate. I think I don't know. I don't know if it's biological. I don't know. But I think most boys are mama's boys. Most, not all.
They're going to say, you know, when it comes out of psychology, that for a young boy, his first love is his mom.
Totally.
A young girl, her first love is her dad.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's one of the things that still maybe linger around in Marlon Wayans' mind.
But you're 50-some years old, my guy.
It's true.
You have 2 kids. You know what I mean? Like, you've been through all these careers. You've played a woman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, I just don't understand why he feels like there's never going to be any, because you're right. You know, it's projection at its finest. And I'm sorry, but like, you want to talk about manifesting. There is no woman good enough for Marlon Wayans, because you've said it. You put it out there now.
None of them will ever be your mom.
No one will ever be your mom. There is no one in this world who can ever be your mom. No one will replace her.
Right.
Therefore, you're correct. No one's ever going to be good enough for you. And good luck finding a wife now when you're 50-some years old and you're telling the New York Times the reason why you've never gotten married is because you didn't want to make your mom jealous. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, but as a woman, listen, I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to put y'all on free game real quick right now.
Put us on.
Men, do not ever give any woman a reason to believe that you will choose your mother over her. I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying you cannot, Benjamin. I understand your mom is your family. She gave birth to you, but your wife, your person, they're your future. You know what I'm saying? They're the person that you are going to cultivate life with. You are going to raise a family with. You are going to spend the rest of your years with. I do believe you should always put your wife first. That's just my opinion. And there are very few women that are going to stick around knowing that they are the second most important woman in your life. Now, in your mind, in your heart, in your soul, your mom can still be the number one woman in your life, but unless you are tending to her on the daily, unless you are bringing in finances alongside her on the daily, you're taking care of her, you're co-creating with her. I hope you're not. Unless you're creating a life with that person, why on earth would you put them before the person that you are creating a life with, that you are trying to have a future with? And like I said, no woman is going to want to stick around. I'm sorry. No woman wants to be number two, but guess who has to understand that they are number two? Your mama. And every mom will understand. They may not like it, but they'll understand, because I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of these mamas put their men before their children. And I'm not saying that's okay. But at the same time, Ben, and I can't remember who said, somebody said this recently, it was a couple, they said they put their relationship before their children, because they said, if we're not good, how can the kids be good?
Right.
And I agree with that. And so, no offense to Marlon Wayans. I mean, he was with his baby mama for decades, so good on him for making it last as long as he did. But she probably never took it seriously. Like, she was like, your mom is more important to you than I am. What am I doing?
Right.
I'm just chopped liver. I mean, really, though. Like, she probably is with a man, probably happy. Wouldn't be surprised if she got married. But I'm sorry. I'm just saying, like, as a woman, no woman wants to be told the mom is more important than they are, because your mom is not here with us every day. Your mom is not the one that gave birth to your children. I did. I should be the most important woman in your life, period. Your mom can be a very super duper close second. It's giving, this is me, and your mom's right there, but like, I'm still number one. And if you give me any reason to believe otherwise, what are we doing?
I mean, from what I can tell, it's not like Marlon Wayans has been emotionally damaged or abused.
But we don't know that.
How Bobby Boucher was from Waterboy. You know, did his mom grow up telling him that, stay away from them girls, every girl's the devil, she's the devil.
Kind of sounds, I forgot about, I ain't seen Waterboy in a minute. I was trying to think about where you were going with, I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
Hey, Bobby Boucher was really, you know, he was really damaged by that,
but
though,
that's
right?
real, Ben.
Like,
a lot of moms do that to their sons without even meaning to. I'm not trying to talk on,
I know what you're saying,
but they do it without even, because they joke. They'll say, no other woman is going to be better than me, right? You know you're going to be taking care of me before your wife, right? They make those jokes when these men are children, and they remember that. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. Or they try to go and find their, like, honestly, when you date, do you think you date women who remind you of your mom? Because a lot of men do that.
You know what's so crazy is, I think I've definitely done it unintentionally. Like, it's always been unintentional. Like, dang, like, and it's more so when I get into the relationship, I start realizing, like, okay, I didn't know this about you before, but this is something that my mom went through in her life. Like, oh my God, I didn't even realize it. But I think that's what ends up happening, though. You know, they say that you end up picking a mate that reminds you of your parent.
Which I think can be a beautiful thing. It just goes to show how much you love your mom. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I just think it's just how we built up when you talk about DNA. I don't even think it's nothing too serious, like, you know, physical attractiveness or something like that.
But what if you, like, let's say you didn't know your mom. Do you think, do you think that question. So I think it's a nature versus nurture thing, personally.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I think it's just nature. It's just innate in us to find that, you know.
But what if you didn't know? But what if you didn't know her? Is my point. So then it's more. That's a nurture conversation and not a nature.
It could be, or again, it could be something, you know, genetically, where, you know, you remember certain smells when you were a child or around your mom, or even in the
I'm talking
the
you never knew your mom.
In the womb, though, you still look for those things that remind you of things that you missed.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, or are yearning for.
Yep.
You know, like, there's certain things that I do now that, you know, I didn't realize I was doing that. My girl was like, damn, like, my dad did these types of things. Like, I like to cook, right? I cook. She didn't tell me her dad cooking stuff like that, but she
Isn't that funny how we're drawn to that without her even knowing?
Without even her knowing. So when I got the cooking and stuff, it reminded her of home because, hey, my dad cooked all the time at the house.
And I can't help but wonder if there's other qualities you have that are similar to her dad, where because y'all have similar enough qualities, you also happen to have cooking in common. Like, I just wonder if there's other things that drew her to you, and then it just so happened there's a bunch of other stuff.
It's a possibility, man. It's definitely a possibility. And I think that's another question for, the person that you do pick. What traits are you looking for in them that are resembling or a reflection of, the parents that you got brought up with? Because some of them traits could also be negative traits, right? Like, you could have been growing up in an abusive home, and next thing you know, you grow up and get in an abusive relationship because that's what you were used to. That's what
familiarity.
It's familiarity, right? So you end up trauma bonding over that, So it's kind of like the same thing that's happening with, like, Justin Bieber and Halle Bieber, right? Like, what if that's some trauma bonding that we're seeing from them,
Well, and the thing about that, so Justin Bieber, man, listen, you want to talk about emotional abuse.
Emotional damage.
I feel like the two, that was so random. I feel like the two actually go hand in hand, the Marlon Wayans of it all and the Justin Bieber of it all, because Halle Bieber got the cover of Vogue, U.S. Vogue. And as we know, Halle Bieber, she's a model, a supermodel, some may say. And Justin shared a photo of his wife on Vogue. Again, it's the first time that she's ever appeared on the cover solo, so it's a big deal for her. However, in his caption, instead of giving her flowers, as one would naturally think that a husband would do for their wife when they accomplish such an amazing feat, this man wrote on this caption, and I quote, "Yo, this reminds me when Haley and I got into a huge fight. I told Hales she would never be on the cover of Vogue. Damn. Yikes, I know. So mean. For some reason, because I felt so disrespected. I thought I gotta get even. I think as we mature, we realize that we're not helping anything by getting even. We're honestly just prolonging what we really want, which is intimacy and connection. So baby, you already know, but forgive me for saying you wouldn't get a Vogue cover because clearly I was sadly mistaken." Ben?
Hey, personally, me.
What do you think when you hear that caption?
So it's a few things that I'm thinking though, Mel. Okay, so on one end, you have Justin Bieber saying these things to his wife, and it kind of makes me feel, especially since I'm wondering so much more about all these celebrities that people glorify, it might be the way they get off. It might be one of the way they actually build and reconnect. Some people like to be emotionally embarrassed,
abused. Just say abused, because that's not in Ben.
Some people, it's a turn.
If you're intentionally embarrassing someone, that's abuse.
You hear about this BDSM, and you would never
abuse. You
would never think these people doing this type of stuff.
Ain't no woman, something like that, Ben. Something like that.
Not you, Mel. Maybe you ain't into that. Maybe you're not into that, but maybe...
If you know a woman who enjoys being emotionally abused, please comment on this video. Please tell me. Like, honestly, Ben, tell me one woman in your life that you know who actually enjoys. I'm not talking erotica. I'm not talking at night. I'm talking not on drugs. No, like in your normal, today is Sunday, we just went to church. Tell me one woman who enjoys being emotionally abused.
Look, I don't know no freaks like that, but
see, that's not freaky. That's not freaky though, Ben.
That's pretty freaky. I think when we talk about sex, I have normal sex compared to all these people out here, man. And people be trying to pull on your heartstrings and stuff like that, trying to manipulate you. So at the end of the day, when y'all get into the bedroom, you can get off in a certain way. I don't know. We don't know these people. We don't know Justin. We don't know how Halle Bieber. We don't know these people. We don't know what they're doing in their bedroom to make certain that they love connections stay grounded.
But Ben, for you to publicly embarrass your wife, you can embarrass her at home if that's how y'all get off. But to do that publicly, to do that where other and Ben, keep in mind, because I get what you're trying to do. I don't think there's any excuse that you can give for this man, though, because this man had the nerve to take something that was an accomplishment for her and remind her of a private situation that they went through. And granted, Ben, in his caption, he said, I was just trying to get even. I was just trying to hurt you because you hurt me. That's basically what he was saying. He didn't need to rehash that. He chose to share with the public. I doubted my wife. That woman I married, yeah, I know I married a supermodel, but guess what I didn't think she would do? Get the cover of Vogue. And guess what I did? I told her as much. And then guess what I'm doing now? I'm telling y'all that I doubted her. And guess what? That's it. That's all I got to say. I was sadly mistaken because I was wrong. No congrats, by the way, Ben. No congrats. No, I love you. No, good job. No, I'm so proud of you. Nothing. All he did was tell us, I doubted my wife. I don't believe in her. That is emotional abuse to a T. The fact that he shared that with us, Ben, imagine what he tells her in the privacy of their own home. Imagine.
Mel, we don't know these people.
And I don't care who I don't know. I don't know Marlon Wayans.
Personally, me.
I don't know your cousins. I'll still talk about them. You feel me?
Personally, me, Mel, look, if you my woman, and actually, really, if I mess with you and I really rock with you, I'm not airing out our dirty laundry. That's not
exactly.
how I go about nothing.
Exactly.
However, Justin Bieber's not being jamming.
No, he's not. But guess what? We all are in the group chat. You feel me? This man went on his public platform where he has 100+ million followers, and he told us that he doubted his wife, Ben. And not only did he tell us that, he told us that he said it to her face. It's one thing to be like, man, I never thought that this would happen, and my golly, it did. I'm so proud of you. No. He said, Haley, hey, remember what I told you would never get the cover of Vogue? Dog, I was wrong.
You
did it. He was tripping. That's emotional abuse at its finest.
I mean, I would agree.
Can you not? You don't think that's emotional abuse?
I would agree, Mel, that it is a form of emotional abuse.
Thank you, Ben.
I would agree.
Thank you, Ben. Just call it what it is. Thank you.
However, some folks like that stuff, man.
No, Ben.
You don't know what nobody thinks is, Mel.
Rhea, this is where I need you to chime in because Ben is trying to be funny because he's a Gemini. He thinks that there are people who get off on emotional abuse. I
100%.
understand what you are
see what's
saying.
happening with Cassie and Diddy.
I understand what Ben is trying to say. There is not a single person on God's green that gets off on emotional abuse. And if they do, that person is a psychopath. They are a sociopath. They need help. You need therapy. You need Jesus. You need Allah. You need somebody, actually, you need anybody in your life who isn't a Gemini to talk to you and set you straight. Because there's no one who gets off. If you get off on emotional abuse, you were abused when you were a kid and you think it's normal.
Well, you know what? One thing that I will, and I guess, this is 101.7 The Truth. I can tell my truth. Can I tell my truth, Mel?
I don't know, Ben. Should you tell your truth? Because if you think anyone gets off on emotional abuse, there's something wrong with you.
I really had to reflect. I had to reflect on what was this discussion being had at hand, and I realized I've definitely gotten off on emotional abuse before. All right, I've been in the wrong, okay, and I've been abused emotionally, and it felt great. It felt great at the end. Tell me what was said. But then I gotta tell the actions.
Then tell the actions. Hey, you brought it up. Now we in the group chat. Go ahead, Ben.
All I'm saying is, Mel, look,
Go ahead.
Emotional abuse.
Say it with your chest.
The psychological manipulation that was happening to me felt best when I was doing some stuff I shouldn't have been doing. The girl was doing some stuff she shouldn't have been doing. However, we were enjoying it at the same time. She was riding me.
I need you. No. We don't need those details. I don't need those details, Ben. I need you to tell me what she said to you that you enjoyed her saying. You don't need to go into all that. We don't need to know that.
She said, we shouldn't be doing this. You're such a bad man.
That's not emotional abuse.
That is emotional abuse because I'm a good guy.
That's not emotional. See, this is the issue with Ben. He's confusing dirty talk with actual emotional abuse.
Emotional abuse.
But did this woman say to you, you will never be a producer, you will never make good music, you will never have your name anywhere, your name will never be in lights, hey, you'll never even get hired at a radio station. That's emotional abuse. Telling somebody they're a bad person, Ben, that's dirty talk. If somebody were to say to you, you will never succeed in your career, what do you want to be in life? Like, honestly, what is the ultimate career goal?
I ain't nothing but a nigga.
What is the ultimate career goal for you?
That's what she told me. She told me I ain't nothing but a nigga, and I kept on enjoying it.
What is the ultimate career goal for you? What is your ultimate career goal?
Rap star.
What if she said to you, you will never be a rap star?
I would have left her alone. I've done that before.
That's emotional abuse. I'm not talking about when somebody's talking dirty. I'm talking somebody is trying to put you down because they want to hurt you, Ben. There is a huge difference. You got to separate the two. You got to have that emotional maturity right now, Ben. I'm not talking dirty. I'm talking true emotional abuse. We are witnessing Hailey Bieber being abused publicly by her husband.
So what do you want to get out of this, Mel? What do you want to get? Is Justin Bieber finna go to jail? He's the next celebrity to go to jail because he's emotionally abusive?
No, absolutely not. All I'm saying is they have now allowed us to peek into their marriage.
Right.
And now we know Justin Bieber is an emotionally abusive husband. And we need, you know what I want to get out of this? Okay. I don't think you'll get anything out of this because you don't know the difference. I think y'all need to recognize the signs.
Abusive.
No, because you don't know the difference, Ben. You don't know. Ben, watch this back. You'll understand how you don't know.
Why are you doing that to me? Why are you abusing me right now?
I'm not. I'm telling you what I know for a fact, which is you don't understand the difference between emotional abuse and actual just dirty talk. That's a huge difference. When you are being emotionally abused, oftentimes people are trying to control and manipulate you. They are verbal attacks, they're criticisms, emotional withholding, like when somebody gives you the silent treatment, if somebody's blaming you or trying to guilt trip you, or as they like to say, gaslight you, when people are being unpredictable and unstable, like those are signs of emotional abuse. And how many people are going through it and don't even realize it, Ben?
That's true.
It's a very real thing. No, and I think that we as humans, we allow certain behaviors, and you can, pretend like it's one thing, but let's just call it what it is. I'm always call that spade out when I see it. And I don't think anybody should take it lightly. Like, I think emotional abuse is a very serious thing. She's going to be damaged from this.
I mean, okay, look, this is one post. We don't know what he says to her in
Oh, that's not doors. One post. That's just the post we're talking about today. It's a lot of posts.
I will say this, though, for real. In all honesty, y'all, if you got a friend, a husband, relationship, anybody around you who talked to you, how Justin Bieber talked to his wife online, they really don't give a damn about you, your goals, your ambition, or for you to be anything in life. And they're probably more ego-driven than what you think. They're probably self-righteous in their own minds and living on an island by themselves. And that's okay for them to live on an island by themselves.
Let them go,
You just need to move. You need to move around.
No, facts.
This person cares about them and them alone, okay?
Truly. And then to add on to that, Ben, because you said it's just the one post, Ben, all it takes is one. If he's willing to publicly embarrass the woman he loves, the mother of his child, his wife, like you said, he doesn't love her. I'm sorry. It's so embarrassing what he wrote. I think it was manipulative. I think it was abusive. I just think it was wrong.
I like how he came out at the end and he kind of tried to clean it up by saying,
He didn't clean it up, though. He said, I was sadly mistaken.
I was sadly mistaken, man.
But, like, when you say I was sadly mistaken.
It's like I wish I wasn't
I wish
wrong.
that I wasn't wrong.
Yeah, like I said, self-righteous.
But it's, again, it's abuse. He never congratulated her in that post. He never, it's almost as if he's jealous that she reached this amazing career feat. You would think he'd be proud of her, like, dog, you're married to the woman who's currently on the cover of Vogue. Ben, what if your girl was on the cover of Vogue? Would you be, writing a caption saying, I never thought you would do this? Look at you.
I'd be waiting for her to get home that night.
Exactly.
That's what I'd be waiting
That's what he should be doing. Ooh. But it's like he's jealous, and it's like, I'm sorry, Bieber, but if you're jealous of your supermodel wife doing supermodel things, maybe don't marry a supermodel. Go marry somebody who works at Kmart. I don't know. I was trying to say a store that's no longer operating because I don't want to offend anybody. But thank you, Sears. Like, I'm for real. Go marry somebody who works at Kohl's grocery store. I remember Kohl's grocery stores. But, like, for real, like, go marry a normie. Don't marry another celebrity. Like, if you're going to get mad because she's doing amazing things to the point where you have to publicly embarrass her, you're probably not with the right person. And now we know that you're this small. And you know what I mean by that. Because now I'm a believer.
What does that mean?
I'm a believer. And now my love for Justin has gone to this much. That's what I meant by that.
So crazy. That's body shaming.
No, it's not.
That is emotional damage.
This is my love for him. This is how much love I have for him.
Is emotional
you think
damage,
I care
bro.
About what Justin Bieber?
Because
I have this much love for him. Because I have this much love for him. That's emotional abuse.
Probably got that much love for you.
So you think that man ain't got no love for me? He don't know me. Hey, if you know somebody, honestly, real talk, because Ben likes to be silly about everything, but the reality is emotional abuse happens all day, every day. A lot of people, I'm sure there's probably somebody listening right now or listening in the future who continues to be emotionally abused. You don't have to take that. You are better than that. You don't deserve that. They don't deserve you. And I hope and pray that this reaches somebody who knows that they can walk away from the situation. That person's just manipulating you, and there's a reason for it. People love to be the dominant partner. People want to be the one that others fawn over. They want to be the one that others lust over. And it's like, cute. Then don't marry a supermodel, Justin Bieber. Go back to Canada with your green card. Okay. You know what? Go hang out with Drake.
That's true. He could do that.
I'm serious. Go hang out with Drake.
Same island together with Tory Lanez and all of them because they're all Canadian.
No, for real, though. Okay. Really appreciate y'all. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it, what you thought about the Marlon Wayans of it all, the Justin and Hailey Bieber of it all. And even though the weather doesn't reflect it right now, yeah, I'm talking about you, Milwaukee. Summer in Milwaukee is nonstop. Festivals, live music, and fresh city vibes fill the season, you already know. From world-famous cultural celebrations to hidden gem street fairs, every neighborhood is a stage, alive with handcrafted traditions, homegrown talent, and world-class entertainment. Music, flavor, culture, whenever you visit, the Cream City is ready to celebrate. This summer, don't just visit. Make sure you experience Milwaukee, the city of festivals. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll be back next week with more. Thank you again for tuning in to Nothing But the Truth with Melanie Ricks, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye.